Welcome to Crypto Profits and Updates. The last 7 days were amazing. We did over 25% on Solana, profited the last week on Bitcoin, Solana, different other coins, Ripple, Ethereum position with over 10,000 US dollars. We're gonna go over it, and then we have big news from BlackRock. They're predicting over the next 5 to 10 years, 85% of money will be in Bitcoin from the wealthy people, which is insane news. We are preparing for that. We're gonna look for some re-entries in all the markets. So let's go inside and check the market out. So before we really go into the charts, I just want to show you how we profited from the market in the last 7 days, or basically since the last update. Let's get it. So as you can see, we are currently open in a position with Ethereum US dollar long, which is currently 970 US dollars in profit. We have another one, which is Ripple with 676 US dollars in profit, and then some other smaller positions of DOT and ETH. Some of them closed. As you know, back then we had our position open in Bitcoin and Solana, which we closed, which had insane profits. I was just gonna show you our Solana positions that we're gonna talk about. This one was this morning, ADU with 500 profit. We just have to click here on all, and then you see all the trades. So you also definitely had some minus ones, CFX USD, Opt USD. These are like smaller trade positions. And now I want to show you the biggest one for the last 7 days that we had, which had insane results, which is our Solana. We have another one with 700 and some SLs, but I want to show you a special one which we were holding for some time. I opened this position a couple of weeks ago, as you might have heard in the last update. And Solana we closed in the last couple of days with $2,386 profit, right? And we are still, as you can see here, running on Ethereum and Ripple. And we're gonna look for re-entries, and we're gonna explain you everything. Our Solana position that we started to build up, if you wanna know the content for that, go back to the last video, which is pinned below, or basically in the description. We are currently 9,900 in profit, right? This position was built up with about 5,000, so we had some nearly or like 100% profit on that. And now we're gonna go over the markets, and I'm gonna show you what is the next re-entries, how you can profit from the next upcoming trend, and my overall overview and knowledge about the market. Okay guys, as you can see right now in front of us is Bitcoin USDT chart. This is our current update. Our last position that we took as a trade, which we kind of finished too early, still profited very well from it, was this little trade over here with 3.55%, which we had a leverage on, so 10%, so we made a good 35% on it, which was still an amazing trade. I would have liked for Bitcoin to, after this increase over here, so this was basically entry, right? Then it closed out, it fell, and then went up again. So we took some good profit. I didn't see Bitcoin going up right now because I would have liked for it to do a direct higher move. So after this high, I would have liked to seen this high going higher, which it didn't. So I closed out over here somewhere, took the 3% something, came back, and then I missed the re-entry on Bitcoin, which then basically resulted in Bitcoin performing an insane push up over from our entry over, there we go, 33%, right? So all of them maybe, or not maybe, most of them went higher than 30% so far, but we are focusing on Bitcoin now. I'll speak about the other ones later. So that's basically what is happening in Bitcoin right now and how we profited from it. It was not the most beautiful trade that we took, but everything went as planned, and that's what the most important thing. We hit our target, which is basically this sequence that we already have since basically March open, which it finally finished with our C. C is our target, our goal, which it perfectly finished on, and now our re-entry would be Bitcoin dropping back to our re-entry, which is 25,728. That year or this year would be our re-entry zone to get into Bitcoin again. This is the 50% correction or whole correction level of the whole up move. So basically of this whole blue sequence, okay? So we basically traded multiple times this whole sequence, sell positions that went beautifully back into our BC correction, from there on pushed up, came back, gave us a re-entry. So there were so many beautiful entries in Bitcoin, and obviously we took this one, closed it too early, which happens, then missed the re-entry. Or not closed it too early, but closed it in profit. If not, it would have gone to our stop loss break even and then missed the re-entry. But that doesn't really matter because Bitcoin is like very much the leading crypto market, the leading coin right in the crypto market, or under the cryptocurrencies, the top dog. And when Bitcoin moves, most likely slightly a couple of days later, Ethereum, Ripple, and all of these other coins start to move. So when I started to see that Bitcoin is moving, I transitioned over into Ethereum, and you just saw some of the open positions that we have with Ethereum. So just to show you one more time, Ethereum on our Bybit account is currently running in profit, 973 US dollars, right? So this one over here. And our entry in Ethereum is this one, right? So what happens is that these cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Ripple, Solana, and so on, they lag behind a little bit. Nowadays, or basically now in this update, right, and the last update, Solana had a big ass push, then Bitcoin kind of came in, and then basically Ethereum and Ripple followed. So that's why when we saw the big move in Bitcoin, we saw the dominance of Bitcoin, then went into Ethereum and Ripple to catch the bigger push. And that's what's happening right now, because Ethereum has a slightly lower push so far with only 14%, but it's enough with leverage trading to profit from it, right, and open positions. So our prediction for Ethereum would be Ethereum going now from our entry over here, which is the BC correction, so the correction between B and C, okay, to finish C, and then we have a higher sequence open, which is the second C, which we saw in Bitcoin. Bitcoin did not only, and Solana did not only finish the first target of the secondary sequence, so the bigger one is the primary sequence with C here, over 3,000, and then smaller one is 2.5 basically, or 2.479 with Ethereum. So this is the primary sequence, the secondary sequence, and obviously the primary sequence is way more important, right? So I'm trading this trade until the primary sequence, which would be an increase of 81%, okay? And we leave this position open. Obviously it's gonna be a swing trade, gonna take some time, but that's the current update for Ethereum. Once Ethereum maybe hits even the first sequence, we will draw again the whole correction level to our for our move, correct? So basically, let's say it does this here. Okay, so let's say from here it goes up here, and then what we want to see is either a re-entry and then it basically pushing up into our target, or even what could happen right now is just that we from here on just go pretty much straight up without really having a good correction in between to enter. But that doesn't really matter for us right now because we are in the position anyways. Once the market goes up and finishes C, either the first sequence, this one, or second sequence, this one, what we are looking for always is a re-entry somewhere over here, which would be the whole correction level of the whole sequence, something like that. So our re-entry would be somewhere over here, okay? And that's what we are looking for, okay? So you're not missing anything. And if you're buying into positions of Ethereum right now, there's no, like, don't hunt the perfect entry, especially when you're investing, when you're trading. Yes, it's very important to enter in turning points in the market as we do, as we are seeing here, a turning point where we entered, we saw a turning point here where we entered, and so on. But at the end of the day, understand that if you're building up positions right now, there's nothing that you're doing wrong, okay? It doesn't really matter if Ethereum goes to 10K, which is my prediction, talked about many times in the other updates. Just check out in this playlist of this, of the crypto updates, check out the videos to have like a whole overview. But I'm predicting that Ethereum goes to at least 10K, and it doesn't really matter if you then buy it at 1.8 or 2 or 2.2 or 1.9 or 1.5, right? Yes, obviously we aim always for the better entries, but when it comes to investing, midterm, long term, it's not that important. You'd rather just buy it, right? Because most of the times people just miss good entries because they think it's gonna be cheaper, and waiting. Don't wait, just get into it. Maybe with diversified positions, you don't need to go in directly with all the position. Means if you have 100% to invest right now, then divide it by 20, and every week, you know, buy 20% of it, or every Friday a portion or whatsoever, right? So you have the cost average. Now after Ethereum, which we are waiting for a re-entry, or letting the trade obviously run, but waiting for a re-entry, we have to definitely talk about Solana. Solana was a full update on the last one, which we completely called the whole move, and people that took it profited from it insanely, which is beautiful to see. I just love to see that the information that I give people with the SK system, with the system that I've been learning for over the last 6 years, really helps people. And this is just like, this is crazy, okay? This is an insane move with what an insane entry and a perfect finish, okay? So you might see, this was our entry. It is in the value channel on Telegram, where I send it this free signal basically. That was our entry, slightly a little bit above the re-entry, and then from there on it just took off and we made over 117% on our investment position. As you have seen on Coinbase, 5,000 invested, more than 10,000 right now. Took 2,000 of profit, letting the 8 run and let it drop. So this red line, once you see a red line in my analysis, that means that's where I sold, let's say 20, 30 or even 50% of the position, waiting it for drop, and that would be our re-entry over here. Okay, 50% whole correction level. Whole correction, why? Because it's the push of the whole sequence. And I would re-enter over here, and if I re-enter over there, what would happen is that I am getting Solana back cheaper. So I'm buying it back cheaper for at least from our sold position till re-entry would be about 50%, 59%. So I'm getting 50% more Solana for the 2,000 that I took out. You know what I mean? So that's how we accumulate positions. Now, how do I like make sure to take 20%, 30, 50, 50 40, 50, how do I decide on that? Is more like if I see more potential of it going up, right? Bitcoin, I did the same thing. So here in the Bitcoin position, you will see the same thing, a red line over here where I took out some of the Bitcoins, I sold them, and I'm gonna rebuy once it drops with over 20%. So I'm buying back 20% more Bitcoin, okay? That's how you accumulate more positions. If that confuses you as a beginning trader or intermediate trader, then no problem, just focus on the trade itself. But there's so many different ways on how you can profit from the market, okay? So for Solana, our re-entry is going to be currently at 27.73. Okay, we already see Solana correcting a little bit. This was one of the most insane trades, I guess, in the last couple of months when it comes to crypto. A zero drawdown trade means it never went into minus, directly pushed up and completely destroyed it with over 100% in profit. And that's how accurate, again, as you can see, is how accurate the SK system can be and how much you can predict the markets moving. Okay, so again, our re-entry will be this one. We had a beautiful sequence building up from over here, the last low, building up a first high, then correcting it in the BC. From there on, we had the next push, had the BC correction level, which is this one, our buying zone, which we entered into a smaller sequence to identify a very good entry. So this one would be a secondary sequence to identify entries, okay? Because secondary entries or secondary sequences can help us identify good entries, okay? And that's what we did over here. Entered, zero drawdown, 100%, and we profited on building up an investment position, same time the trade, as you might have seen, over $2,000 in profit closed, okay? Perfect. So we talked about Bitcoin, we talked about Ethereum, we talked about Solana. Now, obviously, I also built up a Ripple position. You also saw in the current running trades, as you can see over here one more time, we have XRP USDT running in $656 in profit with a 10x leverage. And our position in Ripple was taken because, again, Bitcoin moved dominantly, then Ethereum and Ripple was lagging behind, right? So it's kind of like Bitcoin moves first, then Ethereum moves, then Ripple moves. Solana moved first this time, which is insane. Bitcoin followed. But basically, that just means that you need to identify a little bit how the markets lag behind and how you can still catch good entries. Even other markets or major markets already pushed, or major currencies, okay? Same thing we did with Ripple. Ripple was lagging behind. There was no volatility, and the lagging behind maybe in general just means there's no volatility. So mostly if the other cryptos go up and people see, oh, nothing really moved over there, let's get into it. What happened in Ripple is that we took a position, a beautiful position over here, okay? I analyzed this position again with the SK system. Same time I used the trade ideas from our smart money concept traders, which had the same trade idea. And it was basically a move for me to get into the market anyways, not only because of my system, but because of a second confirmation of traders that I very much value. These traders are the educators in iGenius, the platform that we represent in the TPR community, the community where you learn trading, and especially the system that we trade on, the SK system, which is very, very precise, as you can see. So our current XRP position was not a perfect entry into the market. Our perfect entry would have been this one in our BC correction of the smallest secondary sequence. Again, this secondary sequence is the low, first push up BCC target. So we entered somewhere over here, which I did with a higher stop loss. Our stop loss here is 22%, which is very high. As case system, I focus more on risk reward trading, so risking less and rewarding more. okay, which basically means we have not as tight as a stop loss, which I don't trade. I'm a swing trader. I'm not an intraday trader. I don't like to have tight stop losses. That means I get stopped out many times, have to re-enter, and I don't want to miss it because I'm very busy traveling the world, teaching people, and so on. So I'm more the swing trader kind of guy. And another very important thing is for you that you need to understand is that most traders are not profitable because they have too tight stop losses. Every hedge fund manager will tell you the biggest mistake of retail traders, which are you and me, normal, ordinary people trading their money, is that they have too tight stop losses. So I'd rather go with a better stop loss, even though we have nearly zero drawdown again here, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna hold this position for 2 or 3 weeks, and then our target obviously would be, our first target would be the C target over here, okay, which would be a percentage up of 25%, which I would close my position on my Forex account, right? I'm currently qualifying for a funded account at TFF through Forex funds, and I have a Ripple position running, which is majorly in profit. So when it hits here, I'm gonna close it. And our Bybit position, our normal position, I would like to hold it until our next target, which is 163%. Gonna be a couple of weeks or even longer, depending on how the markets move. I might close it earlier, but I would sell then at 1.455. And as you guys might know, Ripple is my largest trading investment position, or basically my largest investment position. So my biggest single position in one asset is XRP, which if it goes from here to here, it's already so much profit that I don't really care if I need to close it earlier because we have money or basically momentum loss over here. That means that maybe markets will do something like this, go up, okay, then maybe go down and have a re-entry. I don't have a problem to sell somewhere over here once I see that there's a little bit of loss in momentum, and clear out a lot of profit on Bybit, right? And then re-enter and having a good trade up. So that's basically what we're looking for in XRP right now. As you can see, Solana moved first, then Bitcoin, after Bitcoin, Ethereum started to pump and it's working, and now Ripple is pumping, right? So these are the most important coins right now in the market. There was one little coin that I gave as a side nugget the last time we did the crypto update. And as you can see, it is going into profit, right? It's a very small coin. Unfortunately, you cannot trade it with leverage, but still, we opened the position over here. I just bought into it and made over 57%, right? Okay, so I put in $1,000, currently made $500 profit in that just by buying on the spot wallet and holding the position. Okay, that was a little bit of a key nugget and side nugget from the last one that I just wanted to talk about. Besides that, everything is looking perfectly fine. There are some good re-entries for you to make. There's some good trades for you to catch once we have re-entries. If you want to catch the re-entries one more time, there's the free value channel where I post everything about my upcoming YouTube videos. It's just a channel where you stay up to date what I do. That's where I send my crypto trade ideas and investment trade ideas, not the Forex ones. That would be a little bit too much. For that, you need to be part of the community. But as free value, that's what I send in there, and it's already so much free value for you guys and people, that basically take these positions. Are very, very profitable, which again, I'm not an investment advisor. You can follow this information if you want to or not. This is not, this is important to understand for you that obviously trading is very risky. You could lose up everything, right? I'm not making any recommendations. I'm sharing you my information, which you either take or not, okay? And these are the updates, right? The most important news that we have in the world of crypto, which I just want to quickly discuss and make you understand, is that BlackRock had a very, very interesting release of information regarding Bitcoin, where they say that it could start to pump because of the spot ETF and basically not only BlackRock but other big hedge funds. And what is very, very interesting in this is to see that there are some assumptions of Larry Fink, I guess it is Larry Fink, if I'm not completely wrong. Photographer, no, definitely not. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. Okay, so Larry Fink basically said that Bitcoin is gold in the future. It's like so difficult for people, wealthy people, to put money in gold because it's a physical asset, and Bitcoin is the new digital gold, right? Which is insane to hear from someone that basically owns the world, and that's BlackRock. And then also what he said is that he prognoses that 5 to 10 years that most wealthy people will have a diversification position in Bitcoin of consisting out of 85% of their portfolio. So that means 85% of the portfolio of wealthy people will be invested into Bitcoin. So this is very, very interesting. And there was this title from CoinDesk that came out, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, seeing client demand on crypto around the world. So he says there is demand for it, right? The ETF approval site is going to be a very important thing. And then you have this very common thing that people talked about the last couple of weeks, which is flight to quality, right? More quality, using Bitcoin, using BlackRock and their ETF to get into cryptocurrencies, which is insane, which also means BlackRock have to buy up a lot of crypto, a lot of Bitcoin, which already, as you know, biggest or largest holdings in BTC. You see that MicroStrategy has one of the highest holdings, okay, and then they even say that, you know, the American bank, or basically the American state, owns a lot of Bitcoin. So you have to ask yourself the questions: why do people own Bitcoin, right? Especially these entities, especially these governments, why do they own Bitcoin? Because they know something that most people don't know right now. So MicroStrategy obviously is a hedge fund, or basically investing heavily into it with Michael Saylor as a CEO, which has a lot of insane content about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, right? He's going all into that, giving predictions and so on. And then you have different other holdings, and it's very interesting to see. Okay, very, very interesting. Voyager, which is another very, very important player in the game. And cryptocurrencies are recognized and investable asset classes. So you see the mass adoption, and that's insanely beautiful to see, right? So right now, if you go back and we just take one more look on Bitcoin, we are currently sitting, and this is a different chart, is a more long-term chart of the ones that I used to invest into Bitcoin and to analyze it. We are currently seeing this picture, okay? And this picture is basically what you're gonna see happening in the next couple of 1.5 years, which is an increase of Bitcoin to over 251% to 122,000 at least, right? And even more in the future, which just makes sense. Okay, if you think all of this volume, all of this money can come from spot ETFs, from the mass adoption of hedge funds, people diversing into Bitcoin while they cannot put money into gold anymore, currently don't want to, because it's just like too much of a headache. Same time with financial crisis, financial crashes, wars, and whatsoever. Bitcoin is just the future, and there's nothing you can say against it, okay? So this information, I believe, is very valuable, because this is just like, we are in the entry zone. We dropped below the entry zone over here. We bought over the last 1 year all the time. I was just buying here, buying, building up positions. And now we have so much to go, and it's the same for Ethereum and all the other coins, right? So that was crypto updates. Make sure to follow and like the video. I actually don't even care if you do or not, but it helps for more people to see this, and especially it gives a lot of trust and credibility into the crypto market, which we need. At the same time, it's just like a little bit of a blessing, and a big thank you to my editors, video editors, to the content creators that do all of the work and do the best to provide the best quality for you. So give them a like, give them a thank you, give them a blessing, and we see us in the next one. Let's get it.